For many senior women, the most painful moment isn't seeing wrinkles appear, but realizing they deepen faster no matter how carefully you care for your skin, as if collagen simply stopped listening. Jojoba oil is often overlooked as too simple, yet it addresses the exact problem aging skin faces after 50 when dryness, hormonal shifts, and daily stress quietly weaken collagen and make wrinkles feel permanent. What if this familiar oil works not by forcing youth, but by helping your skin protect what it still has? I'm Dr. Eliza Hart, a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist with over 15 years of experience in women's health and hormonal wellness. And I've seen how jojoba oil is often underestimated simply because it feels familiar. Yet after 50, it quietly supports many of the concerns senior women struggle with, including skin that no longer holds moisture, wrinkles that settle deeper over time, and collagen that becomes harder to protect despite careful routines. Rather than forcing change, jojoba oil works by helping aging skin stay balanced, comfortable, and resilient. In this video, we'll explore why jojoba oil continues to support wrinkles and collagen when stronger products often disappoint, and why its role is rarely explained in a way that matches postmenopausal skin biology. If you value evidence-based guidance for women's health after 50, please subscribe to the channel and comment below with the country you're watching from, so I can see how far this message is reaching around the world. Stay until the end, because I have one small but important insight about jojoba oil that most senior women have never been told. To understand why this matters, let's begin by looking at what really happens to collagen after 50. 1. Why collagen after 50 weakens when skin loses self-regulation? To understand why wrinkles seem to deepen faster after 50, it's important to look beyond the idea that collagen simply disappears with age. Because in most senior women, collagen is still present but no longer supported by a stable environment. What changes first is the skin's ability to regulate itself, a quiet but critical function that controls how moisture, lipids, and inflammatory signals are balanced from day to day. When this self-regulation weakens, collagen fibers are placed under constant strain long before any visible damage appears on the surface. After menopause, declining estrogen alters how the skin produces and distributes its natural oils, which are essential for maintaining flexibility and resilience. The skin becomes less consistent in holding water, releasing it too quickly during normal daily activities, such as facial movement, cleansing, or exposure to dry air. Each cycle of dehydration creates subtle tension within the deeper layers of the skin, and over time, collagen fibers are stretched and stressed rather than supported. This process happens gradually, which is why many women feel confused when wrinkles appear to worsen, despite careful routines and high-quality products. What makes this stage particularly frustrating is that the skin no longer communicates its needs clearly. Instead of responding predictably to moisturizers or treatments, it shifts between feeling dry tight or temporarily comfortable, creating the impression that nothing truly works anymore. From a clinical perspective, this inconsistency signals a loss of regulation rather than a total loss of structure. Collagen becomes less organized, not because it is gone, but because the conditions around it no longer allow it to remain relaxed and stable. When self-regulation declines, the skin often reacts poorly to aggressive solutions. Strong actives or heavy products may provide short-term smoothness, while quietly increasing background stress, which further destabilizes collagen over time. This is why many senior women notice that stronger approaches seem to deliver diminishing returns, leaving the skin more reactive rather than more resilient. Recognizing this shift reframes aging skin in a more compassionate and accurate way. Instead of viewing wrinkles as proof of failure or irreversible loss, they can be understood as a sign that the skin needs support in how it manages daily demands. Once regulation is restored, collagen no longer has to endure constant tension, and the skin becomes more receptive to care that works with its biology rather than against it. This understanding lays the foundation for why certain ingredients, when chosen wisely, can still make a meaningful difference after 50. 2. Jojoba oil's wax esters, why mature skin recognizes it. Many senior women describe a quiet but unmistakable feeling when they apply something to their skin and immediately sense whether it belongs there or not, long before they see any visible result. That reaction is not intuition or coincidence, but biology, because mature skin after 50 becomes far more selective about what it accepts and what it resists. As hormonal support declines, the skin loses patience with ingredients that confuse its surface signals, which is why products that once felt comforting can suddenly feel heavy, irritating, or ineffective. Jojoba oil enters this conversation differently from most oils because its structure closely mirrors the skin's own natural defenses. Unlike plant oils that act primarily as surface lubricants, jojoba oil is composed of wax esters that resemble human sebum, the protective substance the skin produced more abundantly before menopause. When estrogen levels fall, both the amount and quality of sebum change, leaving the skin without a reliable way to regulate moisture flexibility and daily stress. Without that regulation, collagen beneath the surface remains under constant low-grade tension. When mature skin encounters jojoba oil, it does not experience it as an unfamiliar coating that must be tolerated. Instead, the skin recognizes it as something it knows how to use. This recognition allows the surface barrier to settle, reducing unnecessary water loss and restoring a sense of equilibrium that many senior women have not felt in years. As hydration becomes more stable, the deeper layers of the skin experience less mechanical strain, and collagen fibers are no longer forced to compensate for repeated tightening and dehydration. What often surprises women is that this process does not feel dramatic at first. The skin does not tingle or react, nor does it appear instantly transformed. Yet beneath that calm response, inflammatory signaling begins to quiet, and the nervous system within the skin becomes less reactive to everyday triggers, such as cleansing temperature changes and facial movement. This reduction in background stress allows collagen to remain more organized and resilient over time, rather than becoming rigid and overstretched. This is why jojoba oil tends to feel uniquely compatible with mature skin, especially when compared to heavier oils that overwhelm the surface or occlusives that trap moisture without restoring balance. Instead of saturating the skin, jojoba oil restores communication, helping aging skin regain its ability to regulate itself. Once that dialogue is re-established, collagen no longer has to defend against constant instability, creating conditions where wrinkles soften gradually and the skin begins to feel cooperative again, rather than resistant. 3. How jojoba oil reduces daily collagen stress. Most senior women never realize that collagen does not weaken only because of age, but because it is exposed to small, repeated stresses every single day as part of cumulative biological load. Long before wrinkles deepen visibly, collagen fibers are quietly pulled, compressed and strained by ordinary activities such as facial expressions, cleansing routines, dry indoor air, and subtle fluctuations in skin hydration. Over time, this constant micro-stress reshapes collagen from something flexible and supportive into something rigid and less responsive. After 50, these daily stresses become more damaging because the skin no longer rebounds the way it once did at a cellular recovery level. As natural oil production declines, water escapes more easily from the surface, creating cycles of tightening and relaxation during normal daily life. Each cycle places mechanical tension on collagen fibers, particularly in areas where the skin moves repeatedly. What many women interpret as sudden wrinkle progression is often the result of collagen being forced to compensate for a surface environment that no longer protects it consistently. Jojoba oil influences this process in a subtle but biologically meaningful way. By reducing unnecessary transepidermal water loss and improving surface flexibility without disrupting normal skin signaling, it helps interrupt the tightening cycles that quietly exhaust collagen. When the skin holds moisture more evenly throughout the day, collagen fibers are no longer pulled into constant defensive tension. Instead, they remain in a more relaxed and organized state, which slows the visible progression of wrinkles over time. What makes this especially relevant for senior women is that this benefit does not rely on stimulation or irritation. Jojoba oil does not ask the skin to work harder or faster. It simply reduces the background stress a collagen must endure, allowing the skin to hydrate and respond without strain. Over weeks of consistent use, this reduced stress can translate into skin that feels less tight by the afternoon and wrinkles that appear less etched. If you've ever felt that your skin looks fine in the morning but seems more lined and tired by evening, comment 1 below. If your skin tends to feel consistently comfortable throughout the day, comment 0. This difference often reveals how much daily collagen stress your skin is carrying and why reducing that stress matters more than chasing intensity. Understanding how collagen is affected by everyday tension helps shift the focus from dramatic treatments to smarter support. Once daily stress is lowered, the skin becomes more receptive, creating conditions where collagen can maintain its structure rather than constantly defending itself. 4. Why jojoba oil softens wrinkles without triggering sensitivity. One of the most unsettling changes senior women describe is not simply that wrinkles appear, but that they begin to look sharper, deeper, and more fixed, even when the skin feels well moisturized. This shift often leads to the belief that collagen has suddenly failed beyond repair, yet in clinical observation, wrinkle texture is influenced just as much by irritation and nerve reactivity as it is by collagen density itself. Mature skin after 50 processes stress differently, and that difference quietly reshapes how lines settle into the surface. As hormonal support declines, the skin's tolerance for stimulation narrows. Signals that once triggered quick recovery now linger longer, causing low-grade inflammation to remain active beneath the surface, even when there is no visible redness. Over time, this persistent background irritation encourages subtle muscular tension and connective tissue rigidity, especially in areas of frequent expression. Wrinkles begin to appear etched not only because collagen fibers weaken, but because the skin loses its ability to fully relax between movements. Many anti-aging approaches unintentionally worsen this pattern. Products designed to stimulate turnover or create controlled irritation may smooth texture briefly, while increasing microscopic stress that mature skin cannot clear efficiently. For senior women, this can create a cycle where the skin looks temporarily improved but feels progressively more sensitive, tight, or reactive. The result is often deeper wrinkle definition paired with discomfort rather than lasting softness. Jojoba oil changes this dynamic by addressing sensitivity at its root rather than masking it. Because it closely resembles the skin's own protective lipids, it supports the barrier without provoking an inflammatory response. Instead of signaling the skin to accelerate, it encourages the nervous system within the skin to settle. As irritation quiets, the connective tissue beneath is no longer held in a defensive state, allowing wrinkles to soften gradually through improved flexibility rather than forced correction. What surprises many women is that this softening does not feel dramatic or aggressive. There is no tingling, peeling, or sensation of activity. Yet over time, lines that once looked rigid begin to appear less tense, especially later in the day when skin typically looks most tired. This change reflects a deeper shift in how the skin manages stress, not a superficial smoothing effect. For senior women, this distinction is critical. Softening wrinkles without triggering sensitivity preserves comfort while protecting collagen from additional strain. When the skin feels calm and supported, it becomes more resilient, and care routines feel sustainable rather than exhausting. This understanding helps explain why certain oils feel comforting yet ineffective, while others like jojoba oil quietly reshape how wrinkles behave over time by restoring balance rather than demanding change. 5. Jojoba oil versus heavy oils. After 50, stability over saturation. Many senior women are surprised to discover that the moment they started using richer, heavier oils was also the moment their skin began to feel more uncomfortable, not less. What initially looks like nourishment can quietly turn into heaviness, congestion, and a strange tightness that makes wrinkles appear more fixed rather than softened. This contradiction often leaves women questioning whether mature skin simply needs more product, when in reality it may be signaling overload rather than deficiency. Heavy oils typically work by sealing the surface quickly, creating an immediate sense of softness by trapping moisture underneath. While this can feel reassuring at first, mature skin after 50 often responds differently, as hormonal shifts reduce the skin's natural ability to distribute oil evenly. Excessive lipid on the surface can interfere with how the skin senses balance. Over time, this disruption can lead to uneven hydration, subtle inflammation, and increased mechanical stress during facial movement, all of which place additional strain on collagen fibers beneath. After menopause, the skin becomes more sensitive to imbalance than to dryness alone. When too much oil is applied, some areas may feel coated, while others remain dehydrated, creating uneven flexibility across the face. This imbalance affects how the skin stretches and relaxes throughout the day, making wrinkles appear sharper and more resistant, not because collagen has suddenly deteriorated, but because the surface environment has lost its ability to move fluidly. Jojoba oil stands apart by avoiding this cycle altogether. Its lightweight structure allows it to support the skin without overwhelming it, helping maintain hydration while preserving normal moisture exchange. Rather than forcing the skin into a passive state under a heavy layer, jojoba oil encourages a stable, responsive surface where movement remains smooth and tension is reduced. This stability minimizes the daily friction that quietly exhausts collagen over time. What many senior women eventually notice is that their skin feels more cooperative when it is not oversaturated. Comfort lasts longer into the day, reactions become less unpredictable, and wrinkles look less rigid as the skin moves more naturally. Immature skincare restraint often proves more powerful than excess because collagen benefits most when the skin above it remains balanced rather than burdened. This understanding shifts the focus away from using stronger or heavier products and toward choosing support that the skin can manage without stress. And once stability replaces saturation, it becomes easier to see why certain oils feel heavy and disappointing, while others quietly support the skin's ability to age with greater ease and resilience. 6. The one thing jojoba oil does better than most moisturizers. What many senior women eventually sense but rarely hear explained is that their skin no longer wants to be pushed, corrected, or constantly fixed, even when wrinkles and collagen loss are the visible concern. After 50, the skin's priorities shift quietly from rapid change to steady protection, and this is where most moisturizers begin to fall short. They focus on adding more hydration, more actives, or more coverage, without addressing whether the skin still knows how to manage what it receives. Most creams work by imposing a solution from the outside. They hold water in place, create temporary plumping, or stimulate activity that promises visible improvement. In mature skin, however, these approaches often bypass a deeper issue, the skin's ability to self-regulate. When regulation weakens, the skin becomes dependent on constant external input, responding briefly before slipping back into dryness, tightness, or irritation. Over time, this dependency places collagen under ongoing stress as the surface environment fluctuates rather than stabilizes. Jojoba oil supports the skin in a fundamentally different way by restoring a sense of autonomy rather than control. Because its structure closely resembles the skin's own protective lipids, it does not override natural processes or force a response. Instead, it helps the skin relearn how to manage moisture flexibility and surface stress on its own. This subtle shift reduces the need for constant correction and allows collagen to exist in a more predictable, less reactive environment. What makes this especially meaningful for senior women is that collagen responds best when the skin above it behaves consistently. When hydration levels no longer swing dramatically throughout the day, collagen fibers are spared, repeated cycles of tightening and release. This steadiness does not create dramatic overnight change, but it slows the progression of wrinkles and helps the skin feel more resilient over time. The improvement is often noticed first as comfort rather than appearance, yet comfort is a key marker of biological stability in aging skin. Many moisturizers unintentionally train the skin to rely on them, while jojoba oil quietly encourages independence. This distinction explains why some products feel impressive at first, but disappointing long-term, while jojoba oil tends to feel more supportive as weeks pass. By helping the skin regain its ability to regulate itself, jojoba oil does something few moisturizers truly achieve. It creates conditions where collagen is not constantly reacting, but calmly maintained. Once this principle becomes clear, skincare after 50 feels less like an ongoing struggle and more like a partnership. When the skin is allowed to participate in its own balance, care becomes more effective, more comfortable, and far easier to sustain over time. 7. How senior women should use jojoba oil for collagen support. There is a moment many senior women reach when they realize that the problem is no longer finding the right product, but understanding how to use something well enough that the skin can actually benefit from it. With jojoba oil, results are shaped less by what it claims to do, and far more by how gently and intentionally it is introduced into a routine. Mature skin does not reward excess or urgency, and this becomes especially true after 50 when recovery is slower and tolerance is narrower. For most senior women, jojoba oil works best when it is treated as a supportive signal rather than a standalone solution. Applied in the evening when circulation slows and repair naturally increases, a small amount is enough to encourage balance without overwhelming the skin. 2 to 3 drops pressed lightly onto skin that is still slightly damp after cleansing allow the oil to integrate smoothly into the surface barrier. This method supports hydration while preserving the skin's ability to breathe and regulate itself overnight. Timing and restraint matter more than frequency. Using jojoba oil every night is not necessary for everyone, and for some women, applying it 3 to 4 evenings per week allows the skin to respond more clearly without becoming dependent. The goal is not to coat the skin, but to help it feel consistently supported. When too much oil is applied, even a gentle one, the skin may lose feedback about its own needs, which can slow progress rather than enhance it. Jojoba oil also pairs best with simplicity. Introducing it alongside multiple new actives can blur the skin's response, making it difficult to tell what is helping and what is adding stress. For mature skin, clarity is essential. Allowing the skin to adapt to jojoba oil on its own for several weeks often reveals changes in comfort, flexibility, and how wrinkles behave throughout the day before visible changes fully appear. Perhaps the most important element is patience. Jojoba oil does not create instant transformation, nor is it meant to. Its value lies in consistency in how it supports collagen by reducing daily strain rather than forcing renewal. Over time, many senior women notice that their skin feels calmer, less reactive, and more predictable, which is often the first sign that collagen is finally being protected rather than challenged. Used with intention, jojoba oil becomes less of a treatment and more of a quiet foundation. When the skin feels safe enough to regulate itself again, support becomes sustainable, and aging feels less like something to fight and more like something to guide with care. Jojoba oil is not about reversing time, but about helping mature skin remain calm, balanced, and resilient, so collagen can be protected rather than constantly strained. For senior women, the most effective care is often the kind that works quietly, supporting stability instead of forcing change. My advice is to use jojoba oil with intention, patience, and consistency, allowing your skin to respond in its own time. If this video has been helpful and you'd like to support the growth of this channel, you're welcome to donate using the link below. Your support truly helps us continue creating thoughtful, evidence-based content for women aging with confidence. Please share this video with someone who may benefit, subscribe to the channel, and thank you sincerely for being here with me today.